I'm Brian Fairbank. I'm President and CEO of the Jiminy Peak Mountain Resort. Probably our green efforts started way back in the 90s when we recognized that snowmaking was our biggest variable cost and the largest dollar figure in the company, and said, what can we do, because snowmaking's for sure a part of our mandated future. And so we started to look at all the different techniques we could apply to changing the way we made snow to do it more efficiently. And that really became the catalyst to say, what else can we do? So things that we have done over time is we've captured compressor heat to help heat buildings in the winter. We've recycled all of our motor oil to help heat our maintenance operation. We have waterless urinals that the women don't get to see, but we guys get in there and say, how come there's no water here? We put CFL lights everywhere in the hotel and every place where we felt we could get away with using those to try and save. We put programmable thermostats. The list just goes on and on. And the truth is, all of those were done really to begin with to try and save money. Looking at costs and saying in the future they're not going to go down, and so everything you can deal with energy is worth it. When we started to look at the wind turbine, we did it because we knew there was no low-hanging fruit anymore. We had done everything we possibly could. And ironically, energy prices were creeping up, dramatically. And they took their biggest spike when Katrina hit. And for us, electricity went through the roof, and we were in the throes of doing the permitting for the wind turbine at that time. So it turned out that business decision had a lot of environmental connections to it that we really didn't, pay attention to when we embarked on the process. It was first a process of saying, do the numbers work? And if the numbers work, then let's keep going. It was well into it when we recognized, holy cow, this is going to be a spotlight, and it's going to be proof to other businesses that you too can make a difference by generating your own power. And so that was really the reason and the spark for Zephyr getting moving. We were all kind of guessing, what's it going to do to the cash register? Are we going to get more business because of the wind turbine? And we do know now factually that 15 or 20,000 skiers a winter for the last 2 winters have chosen to come to Jiminy as the wind turbine being part of their decision-making process, meaning first-time people visiting Jiminy. So it has caused people to say, I'm going to go there because. Conference business, we get more conference business that also values and has a philosophic view that they want to do business with a green company. The Sierra Mountain Club came here to a ski resort last summer for a 4-day conference, probably unprecedented in the United States. So lots of little things that you wouldn't think behind the scenes were going to be that material. I can't give you a dollar figure when I go to the bottom. We probably should put a pencil to it and say, what is the benefits of the turbine in terms of generating revenues to the property? It's not insignificant. We have tried to look at where else can we do things that will be green, and the ability to prioritize them probably doesn't happen as easily as one would think, because some of them crop up by new techniques that are out there. For example, we are now using vegetable oil and using our own vegetable oil and processing it, not in a biodiesel way because it's a little bit more lethal. And our guys figured out a way to do all of the concoctions with the pumps and the filters themselves. And it was one that, okay, other people are doing it, can we figure out a way to do it ourselves? And we didn't even put a number to it. We just said to the guys, if you think you can do it, go for it. And it took them a couple of months, and we now have a truck that runs around property that smells like French fries all the time. But that's an example of how I think the genesis of new things are going to happen because it's become a part of our culture. Saying, okay, how do we, save a tree? Betsy, our marketing director, is always saying, why don't we use both sides of the paper when we have to print something? Well, all of a sudden that resonates because you're using that as an example of things that you can do. Our next ones to probably look at for us is what can we do with solar, and how can we do solar in a way that is cost justifiable and in a meaningful way being able to be plugged into our power use system, not just doing it as a image issue. And I would dare say somewhere in the next year we're going to install something with solar, and where it's going to go, there's a couple alternatives of what we do with it. But it goes further in that little things like recycling. we all got on the recycling bandwagon, so we now have recycling bins throughout the property trying to get people to put bottles and cans in here. And I was suspect that the general public really wouldn't respond to it, that we were going to be filtering through all this stuff because it was mixed garbage. And it really has worked pretty well. I mean, it isn't perfect, but it resonates further in that we all send our paper, gets it recycled, our cardboard in terms of internally with our management and staff. So lots of little things crop up. They don't get prioritized because we have a laundry list of 30 that we want to do and which one's first. Because we've done so darn many of them at this point in time, that's where we're left with what we're tackling on a piecemeal basis. But I think because we know there's more than just cost justification right now, the ability to say it is important for our company to keep green as a part of its symbol out there in the community is a necessity and a desire for us as a philosophy. There are many, many alternatives for companies to find a way to get reimbursement from their utilities, to be able to go after some grants. There's investment tax benefits for people to say, what can I do to invest and how can I get the numbers to work for me? And if you look at it and say, I'm not trying to make a short-term decision, I'm trying to make a long-term decision, but do it in a way that's not going to jeopardize what your core competency is. And if you're a capital-intensive business, that becomes very challenging, because if you need cash to be able to make your business grow and you got to go tie cash up in some kind of energy improvement, it becomes a challenge. Which one's going to be more important to our business as it tries to develop into the future? There are now alternative companies out there that will put the capital in, they'll own it, and they'll sign a power purchase agreement with you to say, I'll find a way to give you solar or give you wind, and there probably are other techniques out there where people can say, I can finance this without it jeopardizing the mothership and where the mothership is heading. I think if every businessman and homeowner in this country were to really put it front and center and say, I'm going to take one bite out of this apple in the next 12 months, that it will make a huge difference. And that's all we got to do is take these little steps and just take these steps over the next 10 years. Look what will happen in 10 years if we all do that.